Jake Martinez ambled deliberately along the Galactic Academy's endless corridors, his regulation black uniform chafing against his skin. The Academy, nestled within the colossal Kepler station, drifted in the inky void between three star systems. Jake, one of a mere dozen humans accepted, felt simultaneously exceptional and profoundly isolated amidst towering hallways designed to accommodate a diverse student body, ranging from feline-sized extraterrestrials to those rivaling elephants. Walls radiated a gentle azure light from enigmatic alien tech Jake couldn't decipher. Students recoiled, clinging to the walls as he approached, their varied eyes wide with apprehension, some with 6 eyes, others glowing in the gloom, some eyeless yet sensing him. Jake's attempted smile only amplified their terror. He'd discovered early on that baring teeth signaled hostility. Among the cosmos's alien denizens, humans uniquely expressed friendliness through smiles. For others, it signaled aggression or hunger. He passed a cluster of petite, azure aliens resembling floral beings. Their melodic whispers reached him. Deathworlder, predator, dangerous. These labels trailed him relentlessly. Jake entered the classroom, settling into a rear chair designed for diverse anatomies. They weren't exactly ergonomic for humans. He retrieved his datapad, reviewing yesterday's notes. Today's focus: xenobiology with Professor Vexstar. The classroom swelled with students, most giving Jake a wide berth. Zephyrians, resembling elegant avian creatures with vibrant plumage, were present. Also, Harmony Collective members, akin to colossal praying mantises, but with more benevolent features. Silicate beings, like mobile crystals, emitted delicate, chime-like melodies as they shifted. Lisa Chen entered the room, and Jake experienced a wave of relief. Lisa was the sole other human in his course block. Sporting cropped, raven hair and astute hazel eyes, she consistently grasped concepts with exceptional speed. The extraterrestrial students were equally intimidated by her and Jake, yet she appeared largely unconcerned. Lisa settled beside Jake. "Morning," she murmured, ready to face another day as the resident terrors. Jake chuckled lightly. "I still can't wrap my head around it. Back on Earth, I was at an animal rescue, devoting my time to aiding ailing puppies and kittens. Lisa might portray me as a simple kindergarten teacher, reciting tales to toddlers and assisting with shoelaces. However, here, the perception shifts dramatically, as if we're prey." Professor Vexstar graced the lecture hall, an imposing silicate entity towering at approximately 8 feet. His crystalline form shimmered, light dancing within its depths. His melodious voice resembled wind chimes serenading a tranquil morning. "Greetings, scholars," Professor Vexstar proclaimed, his resonance enveloping the chamber effortlessly. "Greetings, esteemed scholars. Today's exploration delves into the captivating realm of apex predators and their paramount role in orchestrating ecological equilibrium." A palpable wave of excitement washed over the extraterrestrial students, their attention laser-focused. Eagerly, they adjusted themselves in their seats, grasping their datapads. Jake observed a fascinating detail. Many hailed from worlds reminiscent of Earth's idyllic gardens, havens of tranquility and serenity. In their sheltered existence, true predators were relegated to the realm of documentaries and literature. "An apex predator," the professor continued, "occupies the zenith of the food chain, a position of immense influence. Rarely targeted by other species, apex predators typically boast greater size, enhanced strength, and increased ferocity." Jake and Lisa exchanged a knowing glance. On Earth, humans undeniably reigned supreme, a reality often overlooked. From rabbits to whales, humanity had pursued a vast array of creatures, colonizing every continent and ecosystem. Today, Professor Vexar declared, we move beyond discussion to direct observation. I've orchestrated a live apex predator demonstration. The alien students erupted in enthusiastic chirps and hums. Jake Zeptic, a Mantis-like Harmony Collective student, vibrated with anticipation, rubbing his forelegs together. Zephyrin students preened, their vibrant plumage rustling with hushed whispers. Professor Vexar stepped forward, activating a device in his crystalline hand. The air shimmered, coalescing into a containment field, a colossal energy bubble capable of holding almost anything. The creature you are about to witness, the professor announced, originates from a world known as Nixaria, a region we designate as the Rim. In a remote sector bordering uncharted space, life teeters on the precipice of survival. Only the hardiest species thrive. A shimmering anomaly intensified within the containment field, revealing an emerging presence. Behold, Professor Vexar proclaimed, brimming with pride, the Corfax Shadow Hunter. The newly materialized entity elicited gasps of awe and fear. Some smaller beings emitted frightened squeaks, reflexively retreating. Fresh from the containment zone, the Shadow Hunter loomed, a colossal figure exceeding 8 feet. Its dark fur, seemingly swallowing light, contrasted sharply with the soft, rhythmic pulse of bioluminescent purple stripes along its flanks. A serpentine head, armed with razor-sharp teeth, topped a muscular frame. Piercing obsidian eyes possessed an unnerving depth, while elongated arms terminated in formidable claws. Seemed capable of cleaving through steel, but its unsettling grace was the real terror. It didn't lumber like a brute. Its every movement was deliberate, each glance calculated. This was undeniably an intelligent entity, a far greater threat than any mindless animal. The Shadow Hunter probed the containment field, its clawed hand testing the energy barrier. It held, but Jake witnessed the creature meticulously analyzing it, searching for vulnerabilities. The Corfax Shadow Hunter, Professor Vexar elaborated. Renowned as arguably the most formidable predator in explored galaxies, it has hitherto defied every containment attempt. Its predatory efficiency boasts an astounding 97% success rate. A chorus of nervous sounds rippled through the student body. One Zephyrian, resembling a delicate floral arrangement, began to weep, its sobs echoing like gentle rain. This entity possesses the ability to permeate certain materials, the professor elaborated. Endowed with exceptional intelligence, its problem-solving aptitude rivals those of the most sentient races. It operates solitarily and has never been recorded exhibiting clemency towards its victims. Jake, rather than recoiling as his peers did, discovered himself intently drawn in. Students. There was an uncanny familiarity in the Shadow Hunter's movements, a haunting echo of something he couldn't quite place. Lisa, ever diligent, meticulously documented observations on her datapad, while most students remained frozen in awe and fear. The Shadow Hunter, having completed its evaluation of the containment field, turned its intense gaze upon the group. Its obsidian eyes scanned each alien form, prompting a vivid chromatic shift from regal purple to aggressive crimson in its stripes. A predatory grin stretched its lips, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. But as its gaze swept across, Jake and Lisa witnessed something peculiar. The crimson stripes subtly morphed back into purple. The creature cocked its head, reminiscent of a dog intrigued by an unusual sound. It advanced slightly towards their side of the force field. Jake's pulse quickened, not with trepidation, but with exhilaration and intrigue. This was unequivocally the most captivating event since his arrival at the academy. The extraterrestrial students huddled against the rear walls of the classroom, their terror so palpable it was practically a scent in the atmosphere. The Shadowhunter's obsidian eyes relentlessly swept the room, lingering on each terrified face. Septic, the mantis-esque student from the Harmony Collective, trembled violently, his chair vibrating intensely. His multifaceted eyes remained glued to the Shadowhunter, his breath growing rapid and faint. Abruptly, his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed sideways, overcome by sheer dread. Instantly, 2 medical drones zipped into the room. These were diminutive, automated robots utilized by the Academy for immediate care. In dire moments, drones gracefully elevated Zeptic, gently extracting him from the classroom. His inert form dangled as they soared. As you can evidently discern, Professor Vexar pressed on, unfazed. The psychological toll exacted by the Shadowhunter constitutes its ultimate arsenal. Its mere presence ignites instantaneous terror within most sentient beings. A petite azure Zapirian, lifting a feathered limb, inquired, "Professor, why such profound impact, despite our unfamiliarity with this entity?" Professor Vexar's crystal body pulsed with what felt like validation. A remarkably insightful question, Kieran. The essence dwells within genetic imprints. Your progenitors thrived on realms where beings akin to this spelled absolute demise, that terror is etched into your very DNA. Jake absorbed this explanation whilst observing the Shadowhunter. In contrast to his peers, he experienced no trepidation. Instead, he felt intrigued. The creature's cadence echoed something he'd previously witnessed, yet he couldn't quite recall what it was. The Shadowhunter was still scanning other students, its focus honed on Jake and Lisa. Its head tilted acutely. Bioluminescent stripes pulsed in intricate patterns, superseding the steady rhythm. Professor Vexar elaborated. Shadowhunter bioluminescence serves multifaceted purposes: camouflage, intraspecies communication, and critically, psychological dominance. Prey, but as Jake scrutinized the being's luminescent displays, they transcended mere psychological games. They appeared utterly distinct. The lights possessed a stark organization, an undeniable intentionality, evoking echoes of Morse code, perhaps even a sophisticated sign language. Lisa, mirroring his thoughts, leaned in and murmured, "Are those light patterns truly arbitrary to you?" Jake demurred, "Absolutely not. It's undeniably attempting communication." Other students overheard the hushed conversation, pivoting to observe. A towering silicate student, Crystalal, emitted a crystalline chime of disbelief. "The humans exhibit no trepidation," she breathed, astonished. "How can this be?" Lisa responded serenely. "Fear isn't invariably the optimal reaction," still meticulously noting observations of the Shadowhunter's luminescent emanations on her datapad. Occasionally, comprehension supersedes fear. The Shadowhunter seemed to register her words, its obsidian gaze fixating upon Lisa, the light patterns subtly morphing, becoming less frantic, more considered. The entity advanced cautiously, its features pressing almost against the containment boundary. The energy barrier crackled. Professor Vexar, observing the creature's altered behavior, paused his lecture. "This is exceptionally peculiar," he remarked, his crystalline form shimmering intensely, a sign Jake recognized as indicating confusion or heightened curiosity. Shadow stalkers generally exhibit increased aggression when sensing potential targets displaying a lack of appropriate fear. Perhaps it doesn't perceive us as potential victims, Jake ventured. A profound hush fell over the classroom. Even the subtle respiratory hums of certain alien students ceased. The notion that a shadow hunter might disregard them as prey was startling. Inconceivable, utterly shocking, Professor Vexar declared, his voice unwavering. Shadow hunters are the ultimate apex predators. To them, every organism is either sustenance or a rival. Their primal minds recognize nothing else. Jake stood, the shift in weight eliciting gasps from a few extraterrestrial students, who recoiled slightly. They likely assumed a threat, but Jake merely sought a clearer view of the shadow hunter. As Jake moved, the creature's luminescent patterns intensified, a vibrant violet spreading across its form in intricate designs. Designs that morphed and flowed like sentient art. Its obsidian eyes remained fixated on Jake's face. "Jake, what exactly are you up to?" Lisa murmured, her tone more inquisitive than frightened. "I haven't quite figured it out yet," Jake responded. He advanced towards the containment field the shadow hunter mirrored him, edging closer from its side. Now only the energy barrier stood between them. Jake glimpsed his own reflection in the creature's inky gaze, observing every minute detail from its razor-sharp teeth to the subtle scars etched into its dark fur. "Student Martinez, kindly return to your... Take your seat, now!" Professor Vexar's tone shifted, losing its usual melodic quality for a cutting, anxious edge. Yet Jake remained rooted, instead lowering himself to meet the shadow hunter's gaze directly. Instantly, the creature mirrored him, adopting the same crouch. The classroom was eerily silent. Jake could discern his own pulse. Then, he detected something else. A faint, subdued sound emanating from the shadow hunter. It wasn't the menacing growl of an enraged beast, but more akin to a gentle purr, or perhaps a subtle hum. "It's attempting to connect," Jake murmured gently. "That's categorically impossible," Professor Vexar retorted. "Shadow hunters are solitary predators. They lack language or social structures." Lisa approached Jake near the barrier. The shadow hunter focused on both of them. Its luminescence intensified and evolved, enveloping its form in intricate, radiant patterns. "Professor," Lisa stated respectfully, "with the utmost deference, I believe your assessment may be inaccurate." The crystal within the professor flickered intensely, resembled a pulsating beacon, Miss Chen. Having dedicated over 4 decades to apex predator research, I can confidently state shadow hunters don't typically communicate. "But what do you make of this?" Lisa inquired, gesturing towards the creature's luminous display. The shadow hunter seemed aware they were discussing its luminescence, amplifying the patterns, showcasing them more deliberately, decelerating and reiterating specific sequences. It was unequivocally attempting to ensure comprehension. Jake experienced a sudden insight. "Lisa, recall our animal behavior studies on Earth. What parallel does this evoke?" Lisa observed the entity, her eyes growing wide. "Heavens! It's akin to a playful pup or a dolphin seeking connection." Jake agreed. The shadow hunter's actions lack aggression. It desires interaction, like a friendly animal engaging with us. A Zephyrian student exclaimed, "That's absurd. Dogs and dolphins aren't apex predators." Jake countered, "Indeed they are, dolphins especially." Fearsome marine predators and dogs descend from apex wolf packs, social creatures communicating intricately. The shadow hunter echoed Jake, a resonating hum of approval. Professor Vexar's crystal form stilled, radiating light. "If your proposition holds," he began, "our entire understanding. The portrayal of shadow hunters is inaccurate." "Not inaccurate," Lisa clarified softly, "merely incomplete. You've analyzed them as mere instruments of destruction, but what if they're sophisticated, communal beings simply misinterpreted?" The shadow hunter pressed its palms against the barrier, splaying its fingers, its bioluminescence surging with what seemed like exhilaration, even delight. For the first time since the demonstration, it appeared less a fearsome beast and more a solitary soul who had finally encountered comprehension. Jake extended his hand cautiously to the containment field, the shadow hunter keenly observing his actions, its dark eyes following every move. As Jake's palm neared the energy barrier, the creature took an unexpected action, captivating everyone in the room. It mirrored Jake's gesture, placing its own hand against the field, directly across from Jake's palm. Even through the barrier, Jake sensed the heat emanating from the creature's skin. The shadow hunter's bioluminescent glow intensified slightly. Stripes intensified, forging luminous patterns reminiscent of a beating heart crafted from pure light. "This is absolutely unheard of," Professor Vexitar breathed, his crystalline form barely illuminated, signifying profound shock. Throughout documented history, no shadow hunter has ever displayed such docile engagement. Lisa edged nearer to the containment field. The shadow hunter rotated its head, fixing its gaze on her while maintaining contact near Jake's form. Its light display morphed, incorporating entirely novel hues. Gentle blues and verdant greens intertwined with the violet, weaving mesmerizing tapestries. Flowers blooming across its dark fur. "It's absolutely breathtaking," Lisa whispered reverently. "Observe the intricate designs. They're far from arbitrary. Each pattern is unique, yet interconnected." The shadow hunter appeared to grasp her fascination with its radiant lights, and it commenced crafting novel, even more elaborate formations. The luminescence originated from its hands, cascading up its limbs, across its torso, and down its spine. A mesmerizing spectacle of living light, imbued with profound intent. Jake discerned recurring motifs within the display. "Lisa, do you..." "Recording now." "Way ahead," she responded, raising her datapad, the device meticulously documenting the creature's radiant display. "I'm cycling it through those translation algorithms from linguistics," she added. From the lecture hall's rear, a courageous Zephyrian voiced, "But what if it's a trap? A ploy to disarm us?" The shadow hunter registered the anxious query, pivoting towards the alien scholars, and instantly its bioluminescence shifted. The soothing azure and emerald hues morphed into piercing crimson and scarlet. Oranges. Its demeanor shifted, adopting a fiercely aggressive stance as it menacingly bared its teeth, seemingly as a stark warning. However, when it refocused on Jake and Lisa, the hostile hues instantly softened, replaced by tranquil blues and greens, its posture relaxing noticeably, conveying a clear distinction in its perception of the humans compared to the other students. "Did you all witness that?" Jake inquired of the class. "It's reacting to fear with aggression, yet mirroring calm with tranquility. This transcends mere predatory instincts. This signifies genuine intelligence." Professor Vexar cautiously approached the containment barrier, maintaining a safe distance behind the two humans. observing intently. Precisely. This revelation redefines Shadowhunter psychology entirely. But I'm compelled to inquire, why are neither of you exhibiting fear? Your species thrived on a world as perilous as Nick's domain. Lisa exchanged a knowing smile with Jake, the kind born from shared, unique comprehension. Professor Lisa elucidated. That, I believe, is precisely why we're unfazed. We perceive the true nature of what confronts us. Elaborate, the professor urged. Jake maintained pressure on the containment field, mirroring the Shadowhunter's unwavering stance. Back on Earth, we have creatures known as wolves, formidable apex predators. Misunderstanding them can be perilous. For millennia, humanity viewed them with trepidation, weaving tales of monstrous beings that would devour us. But then, we uncovered a crucial truth, Lisa proceeded. Wolves aren't malevolent entities, they're social beings with intricate family dynamics. They engage in communication, partake in playful activities, and nurture their offspring, showing profound care. They grieve for their fallen. The Shadowhunter emitted a gentle murmur, seemingly in accord. New light patterns emerged, measured and thoughtful. Jake mused they resembled a narrative. Crucially, he continued, when humanity embraced wolves, we forged an alliance. Selective domestication yielded dogs, solidifying a bond that blossomed into one of Earth's most triumphant partnerships. A soft intake of breath resonated. Deep within the chamber, an astute alien pupil grasped Jake's proposition. You hypothesize Shadowhunters could be allies, not adversaries, inquired Carolyn. The Cerulean Zapirian, who'd previously questioned. I suspect they may already be, Lisa responded, indicating her datapad. Examine these translated findings. The sequences aren't arbitrary, they're linguistically formulated. The Shadowhunter appears to comprehend our attempts to decipher its discourse. It initiated replicating identical patterns repetitively and distinctly, akin to an instructor reiterating a lesson for student comprehension. Understood. Jake felt an exhilarating surge of anticipation. It's endeavoring to impart its language to us. Professor Vexitar's crystalline form pulsed intensely. This is astounding. If Shadowhunters possess language, are sentient, and are social entities, why has this remained undiscovered until now? Lisa stated plainly, because no one dared to attempt communication. Fear dictated their actions. They perceived a perilous predator and instinctively adopted a defensive stance. Jake chimed in. Indeed, we too are apex predators. We hail from a death world, much like they do. Do we truly grasp the weight of being feared and misunderstood? The Shadowhunter's luminous display intensified, swirling in intricate patterns. Light cascaded across its form in mesmerizing spirals and waves, weaving designs of breathtaking beauty. A sound, not of aggression, but of elation, or perhaps release, emanated from the creature. I believe it comprehends us, Lisa murmured, as the creature gestured with a clawed hand, first toward itself, then toward Jake. Lisa glanced at the other students as the device projected shifting light patterns, signaling its perception of distinctions between humans and aliens. A thought sparked in Jake's mind. He gestured towards himself, articulating distinctly, human. Then turning to Lisa, he repeated, human. At last, he gestured toward the Shadowhunter, anticipating its response. The creature's eyes dilated, its luminous patterns intensifying. It indicated itself, emitting a distinctive vocalization, undoubtedly a term from its native tongue, a profound, melodious blend of clicks and guttural resonances. "Did it just reveal its species?" Lisa inquired, her voice filled with astonishment. The Shadowhunter reiterated the sound, again directing it at itself. Then it produced a new sound, specifically targeting its face. Jake discerned that this second utterance likely signified its given name. "It possesses a name," Jake declared, scanning the room. "This isn't merely an intelligent species. It's a sentient being. Bearing unique identities, the extraterrestrial pupils edged nearer to the containment barrier, their apprehension waning, supplanted by enthrallment, witnessing unprecedented phenomena." Professor Vexar furiously scribbled observations onto his datapad. "If valid, if Shadowhunters possess sentience, not mere predatory instinct, the cosmos has committed a grave injustice. We've been subjecting an intelligent species to treatment befitting dangerous beasts." The Shadowhunter, seemingly attuned to the altered ambiance, projected softer, inviting light patterns, commencing. The alien extended the identical greeting to other students, as it had to Jake and Lisa, but most remained apprehensive. Only Jake and Lisa fully grasped they were experiencing first contact with a profoundly isolated, misinterpreted species. The creature glanced back at the humans, and Jake was certain he detected a glimmer of hope in its dark eyes. Hope that someone, at long last, truly understood their nature. Suddenly, the classroom door flew open with a resounding crash. Dr. Kelshawn charged in, closely pursued. Guarded by 3 vigilant security drones and 2 additional professors, Dr. Kelshawn, the esteemed head of the xenobiology department, a towering, slender extraterrestrial with ashen skin and 4 powerful limbs, hailed from a high-gravity world that forged his surprising strength despite his delicate appearance. "What is the significance of this, Dr. Kelshawn?" he boomed, his voice reverberating across the chamber. "I've intercepted urgent alerts indicating students are imperiled by a rogue predator." Professor Vextar's crystalline form shimmered with unease. "Doctor, the circumstances are evolving." Commanding yet strikingly aberrant, the Shadowhunter exhibits actions that defy established scientific understanding. Dr. Kelshawn scanned the room, observing alien students huddled against the walls, apprehension lingering yet diminishing. He noted Jake and Lisa composed beside the containment field. Crucially, the Shadowhunter's behavior diverged entirely from that of a captive predator. Acknowledging the newcomers, its luminous patterns transitioned to the hostile reds and oranges previously displayed in response to fear, yet it refrained from aggression. The entity didn't breach the containment field or attempt escape. Instead, it positioned itself protectively before Jake and Lisa, seemingly shielding them from harm. "Remarkable, Doctor," Kelshawn murmured, adjusting scanning devices with precise movements. "The organism is exhibiting a defensive response toward the students. Statistically improbable." Jake pivoted, addressing department head Dr. Kelshawn. "With all due respect, I believe the core issue is a misinterpretation of Shadowhunter behavior." "Elaborate," Dr. Kelshawn urged. Lisa stepped forward, datapad in hand. "Doctor, our recordings of the creature's bioluminescent signatures indicate complex communication, not random displays. The Shadowhunter is attempting to communicate with us." Dr. Kelshawn's quadruplet eyes, each a distinct hue, widened, all fixated on Lisa's data. "Present this data promptly," Dr. Kelshawn commanded. Lisa offered her device to the doctor, meticulously analyzed the recordings, his forearms flying across the console as he subjected the patterns to diverse analytical algorithms. fellow academics huddled nearby, peering intently. "By the ancient cosmos," murmured Professor Yinthor, a bioluminescent, jellyfish-esque entity presiding over advanced linguistics. Did these configurations evince grammatical architecture, subject-verb-object dynamics, unequivocally language? The Shadowhunter scrutinized the scholar's scrutiny of the data. It initiated the genesis of novel luminous matrices, far surpassing all prior complexity. The luminescence coalesced into forms strikingly reminiscent of pictograms. Jake perceived, decipher scenes resembling landscapes, enigmatic creatures, and potentially even structures or urban centers. "It's projecting images," Jake comprehended, attempting to communicate details about its origin. Dr. Kelshon, glancing up from his datapad, implored, "Esteemed students, I require your assistance to decipher this unfolding enigma. In 3 decades dedicated to the study of apex predators on death worlds, I've never encountered such a phenomenon." Jake observed the Shadowhunter, still manifesting its luminous visuals. "Doctor," he proposed, "the crux of the issue might lie in your methodology. You examine them as mere specimens, as embodiments of peril, but there might be more to them than meets the eye. Predators, yet perhaps they transcend mere predation. What if they possess sentience, humanity?" Dr. Keelan echoed, "people," the term foreign on his tongue, questioning if they were intelligent beings defined by their own culture, complex societal structures, and unique perspectives. Lisa elaborated, "Back on Earth, we once dismissed various species as simple-minded creatures. However, deeper research revealed profound levels of intelligence and complexity." The Shadowhunter seemingly grasped their conversation, approaching the containment field and initiating a new sequence of light patterns, distinct from previous displays. They appeared more sorrowful, deeply lamenting. Professor Yanthara drifted nearer to the containment field. "If my analysis is accurate, it seems to be conveying profound grief and bereavement." Jake's heart plummeted as he observed the creature's behavior. "It's isolated, isn't it? That's what it's attempting to communicate. It's the solitary member of its species here." The Shadowhunter's patterns validated his inference. The luminescence depicted solitary figures, journeys across vast expanses, and the same melancholic patterns recurring relentlessly. If Shadowhunters possess advanced intellect and social structures, Dr. Kelshon mused deliberately, then their forced isolation constitutes a cruel form of torment. We might unknowingly be perpetrating atrocities against sentient beings. Lisa, engrossed in her datapad, deciphered alien communication. "Jake, incredible. It appears to be posing inquiries." The Shadowhunter generated intricate patterns, demonstrably structured as questions, the luminous forms morphing momentarily before reiterating with subtle nuances. Inquiring about Jake and Lisa's origins and home planet, Jake elucidated with rudimentary gestures and verbiage, self-identifying as human again, before indicating Earth. The Shadowhunter's patterns intensified, mirroring its growing fascination. "This acquisition of knowledge is extraordinary." Professor Vexar declared, "We're observing unprecedented first contact unfold organically between 2 species, a connection forged through genuine comprehension, bypassing conventional diplomacy." Dr. Kelshon meticulously documented every nuance with his 4 arms. "Human students, your species has achieved a feat unmatched by any galactic civilization. You've initiated tranquil dialogue with the Shadowhunters." The Shadowhunter then unleashed a mesmerizing display of intricate patterns. Light enveloped its form, weaving a tapestry of astonishing designs that morphed and cascaded like sentient art. But these configurations were novel. They seemed to be posing a crucial query. "I believe it's inquiring about other members of our species," Lisa articulated, analyzing her decoding algorithms. "It's keen to ascertain if there are more of our kind," Jake affirmed to the entity. "Indeed, countless humans populate Earth, celestial space, and even distant planets." The Shadow Hunter's reaction was instantaneous and profound. Its illuminations intensified to an almost unbearable brilliance. The being commenced a sequence that could only be interpreted as a euphoric dance. Its radiance sculpted celebratory iconography across its physique. "It's beyond mere happiness," Jake realized. "It's hopeful, Doctor." Kelshan set down his datapad, fixing his gaze upon Jake and Lisa. "What you've achieved today is revolutionary. If Shadow Hunters possess intellect and have been tragically misunderstood and isolated, we bear a profound responsibility to connect with others of their kind." Professor Vexitar interjected, "The hurdle lies in their perception. Every civilization deems Shadow Hunters perilous. Convincing anyone they're not lethal predators will be an uphill battle." Jake, eyes locked on the magnificent being before him, understood the challenge. The celebratory jig ceased as it intently absorbed their exchange. Intelligence gleamed in its obsidian eyes, underscored by an implicit trust. "The Shadow Hunter confides in us to aid it," Jake affirmed resolutely. "Then let's demonstrate their error. We must illustrate to the cosmos the misjudgment they harbor towards Shadow Hunters." The creature advanced, pressing both hands against the containment field, its gaze locking with Jake's. The light patterns emanating from it softened, conveying profound gratitude. Jake discerned the creature's likely isolation, possibly spanning its entire existence. "We pledge to assist you." Jake vowed to place his hands against the barrier, facing the creatures. "We'll find others like you. You'll never be isolated again." The Shadow Hunter's patterns resonated, brilliant and exquisite, and Jake sensed its comprehension. Dr. Kelshan was about to make a choice that would irrevocably alter galactic history. Approaching the containment field control panel deliberately, his fingers gliding over the controls with meticulous accuracy. "Doctor, what's your intent?" Professor Vexar queried, his crystalline form shimmering with apprehension. "I'm deactivating the containment field," Dr. Kelshan declared. If it possesses genuine intelligence and benevolence, confining it is unjustifiable." The alien students recoiled, some emitting fearful vocalizations in their native tongues. Kira Lin, the Azure Zephyrian, hesitantly inquired, "Doctor, what if your hypothesis is incorrect? What if it assaults us?" Dr. Kelshan hesitated, his hand hovering over the controls. "Then we shall confront that eventuality. However, if our assessment proves accurate, if Shadow Hunters are sentient beings, victims of misunderstanding, this juncture shall inaugurate a revolutionary epoch." Within the galaxy's depths, Jake's heart raced, not with terror, but with exhilaration. "Doctor, if first contact is imminent, Lisa and I must initiate it. The creature has faith in us." Dr. Kelshan conceded, "Agreed, but security drones will remain on standby." The Shadow Hunter seemed to grasp the situation. Its luminescent patterns softened, radiating tranquility. It positioned itself in the containment field's heart, minimizing its presence to convey peace. Its dark eyes remained locked on Jake and Lisa, its gaze tinged with an almost pleading hope. "It understands our intentions," Lisa noted. "Observe its posture. It's attempting to convey it poses no threat. Dr. Kelshawn concurred, activating the final command. The containment field wavered, then vanished. For the first time in ages, the Shadow Hunter was unbound. Initially, the creature was motionless, seemingly incredulous at its newfound liberty. Then, with infinite slowness, it began to... Jake arose, advancing a solitary pace as the entity mirrored his action, bridging the gap. They confronted each other, barrierless. Jake detected the Shadow Hunter's surprisingly alluring scent, reminiscent of rain-kissed pines. "Greetings," Jake murmured, offering his hand akin to his containment field gesture. The Shadow Hunter scrutinized Jake's extended hand, then tentatively reciprocated with its clawed appendage. Their palms met, an inaugural skin-to-skin contact. The creature's grasp was surprisingly tender, a warm contrast to its sharp claws. As their hands met, the Shadow Hunter ignited with a radiant display of light, an unprecedented spectacle of vibrant hues cascading across its fur, radiating pure joy and profound gratitude. The intricate patterns evoked gasps of awe from the alien students, prompting Lisa to join them. The Shadow Hunter extended its other hand to her, uniting them in a luminous circle at the heart of the classroom. "Grasping this marks first contact," Dr. Keelan murmured, meticulously documenting everything. "We're observing the unprecedented peaceful convergence of Shadow Hunters and galactic society." The Shadow Hunter intensified its luminous displays, now more compelling. These weren't mere signals. They were elaborate narratives woven with light and chroma. Professor Yinthara approached, her translation tech whirling. "It's recounting its people, others scattered throughout the cosmos, living in seclusion. Isolated, terrified to engage, branded as monsters. The creature's visions unveiled Shadow Hunters dwelling in forgotten caverns, perpetually concealed from society. It revealed their profound solitude, acute fear, crushing despair, a people exiled without sanctuary or companionship." "They're displaced," Lisa declared, tears welling. "Their homeland obliterated, they eternally traverse the cosmos, perpetually rejected due to unwarranted fear." Jake felt fury surge within. Chest, his anger directed not at the Shadow Hunter, but at the entire galaxy and all the civilized worlds that had abandoned these beings simply for appearing intimidating. "How long?" Jake inquired of the creature. "For how long have your people endured this solitude?" The Shadow Hunter's patterns revealed the passage of time. Years, decades, and generations. Centuries had elapsed since the Shadow Hunters had known community and shared existence. Centuries defined by loneliness and isolation. "This is a profound tragedy," Dr. Kelshawn remarked, his forearms moving with fervent dedication to meticulously document every detail. "An entire intelligent species has been driven into exile by dread and misinterpretation." The creature then started crafting novel patterns, purposefully aimed at Jake and Lisa. The luminous forms morphed into shapes resembling inquiries, their significance undeniably evident. "It's probing whether humanity is prepared to assist," Professor Yinthara interpreted. "It seeks assurance that we're willing to collaborate with fellow Shadowkin to rediscover a haven where they can coexist in peace." Jake gazed into the creature's obsidian eyes and discerned a fragile, precious flicker of hope. This being had endured such profound solitude, yet now it dared to believe that its people might finally return home. "Yes," Jake affirmed resolutely. "Humanity will assist. We empathize with the pain of being misunderstood. the terror of being feared simply for one's origins. The Shadowhunter's radiant patterns erupted into pure, unadulterated joy as the creature drew nearer, tenderly enveloping both humans in an embrace, a genuine hug. Its warmth enveloped them, and they felt its grateful purr resonate deeply from its chest. Alien students in the classroom wept, not from terror, but overwhelmed by the sheer beauty unfolding before them. Even Zeptic, who had previously fainted, had returned, now watching with wide-eyed wonder. "I was mistaken," Professor Vexar confessed, his crystalline form glowing with remorse. "We were all mistaken. We studied these beings, behaving like animals when we should have endeavored to comprehend them as individuals." Dr. Kelshawn, already formulating strategies, stated, "We must promptly notify the Galactic Council. This fundamentally transforms our understanding of apex predator species, necessitating human emissaries to facilitate contact with fellow Shadowhunters." "We offer our services," Lisa instantly declared. "Jake and I are prepared to assist in any conceivable manner." The Shadowhunter retreated slightly from the embrace, yet maintained a hand on each of their shoulders as it commenced conjuring fresh configurations. These now were, most intricate yet, the luminous patterns coalesced into galactic maps and star charts, pinpointing locations across the cosmos where fellow Shadowhunters might dwell. "It's essentially gifting us a navigational chart," Jake deduced. "It's revealing the whereabouts of its brethren." The creature affirmed, comprehending Jake's words despite their disparate origins. It gestured towards itself, then to Jake and Lisa, followed by the celestial cartography it had conjured. The implication resonated. "We shall embark together." "The inaugural collaborative human Shadowhunter expedition," Dr. Kelshawn exclaimed, awestruck. "Students, you've just chosen for the cosmos's pivotal mission." Jake gazed upon his newfound ally, a majestic entity weathered by eons of solitude. "We pledge our unwavering commitment," he declared, "to restore your people's sanctuary." The Shadowhunter's radiant patterns resonated, a beacon of hope after centuries of despair. Humanity, the galaxy's freshest predators, illuminated a profound truth. Predation doesn't necessitate monstrosity. The era of profound understanding had dawned.